And it can affect you in many different ways with stress.
Yeah.
You know, mental illness now, which, you know, I'll be honest, I wasn't a big believer in, but, you know, after running a business, not solo, but being heavily involved in running that business, you don't realise how you can be impacted, you know, from things going on around you, which then you don't, you know, it's not like shutting the door at 5 o'clock and then walking out the door and that all goes away. That's sat there while you're sat, the telly's on, EastEnders is on, everybody's talking around you, and you're sort of off in a daze thinking about what you've got to do the next day, what happened in that day, etc., etc. And I think that nobody talks about that stuff. Nobody talks about, you know, VAT bills, and you've got cash flow issues coming around. Nobody talks about any of these things. It's all about how great my business is, how well we're doing, how much cash we've got in the bank, what cars we drive, and it's not about that. There's a lot more that goes into a business. And a lot of other businesses in the UK, especially after COVID now, have struggled. And we've seen it from our customer base is not just a particular industry, it's every industry. It's, you know, accountants, builders, transport, you know, podcasting agencies.
Yeah,
it could be absolutely anything. So, you know, for us, it's looking at those industries and seeing what's happened to those businesses. And during COVID, we had, I think it was about 42 businesses go into liquidation in 18 months after COVID.
Yeah.
And had a real negative impact on your business.
Huge, massive. The revenue, because obviously we contract into certain products and services with, you know, the major networks, and when someone goes bust, that's it. You know, there's only one person that's footing the bill, and that's us.
Yeah.
And they were, some of these companies were huge businesses. One of them was a huge educational partnership that was funded all by the government, and of course with every bit of pound and shilling and pence they were putting elsewhere, that sort of threw all those you know, government funded agencies into turmoil, and they couldn't carry on. And they had you know, they had over 300 employees across the UK, and that seriously hurt us.
Yeah. And I think you picked up on something there which I think people don't really think about or talk about with small businesses as well, is that running a small business yourself, but you're often in a community of small businesses, you're much more likely to be doing business. You know, I mentioned some quite big brands that Move work with, but actually on the whole, we work with companies that are about the same size as we are. So actually we're in a kind of community and network of small businesses.